Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo.
Apply today and become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co.
And be sure to add our podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 237. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
I'm doing pretty terrible, Dan. I got to tell you, I'm not going to lie. Straight out the gate, I pulled my back this morning. Terrible.
Well, when you're in a nursing home and you're a senior citizen, that tends to happen. So, I'm not looking forward to those days.
Womp womp. No, I was painting the baseboards. Right, they needed a little bit of a touch up. I got the white paint out, put the second coat on today, and I was trying to move the game shelves back. Right, the two ones that kind of like wrap around the where the stairs are. Right.
Yes. And
they're big IKEA shelves, and it was just me, and they were a little like stuck to the ground a little bit, and trying to push the big one back, and it was like, oh. So I'm feeling it right now. Old man Rotino, all right? If there's any time you can say it now. But, it's a little bit of a pain. Terrible. So be very careful when you do the, I guess you already did the annual game room
purge
reconfiguration, the purge, I guess.
The reorganization. Yeah. I did. I sort of half did, to be honest. Because I just wanted to make room. Because you gave me a new monitor, and I had to make room for that, right?
I did. Listen, share the wealth where you can, all right? That's my motto.
But I was just thinking the other day that, I'm double stacking, and it's I have so many like new games recently, that I'm gonna plug it. I finally hit 3,500 last month. Ooh. But now I'm at 3,600 and like 60, almost 37.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make you a new graphic when you hit 4,000, which is gonna be pretty soon.
So it's like I'm completely double stacking to where you can't see anything in the back.
Yeah, man.
So it's that time where I'm gonna have to sort of reorganize again, like the main gaming shelves. So.
Well, what are you going to do when the Xbox Series X or S and the PS5 come through, right? That's
I'll worry about that when I get there. Okay, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Well, okay. I have two different journeys from current gen to next gen.
Okay.
Right? Like when current gen, when that first came, I don't think we were doing a show yet at that time in 2013.
We definitely not. We started 2015, August of 2015.
I'm not gonna rehash the story, but I was on that pre-order hunt right? And I really didn't need to pre-order the Xbox. I got that like day one. The PlayStation, I had to wait like 2 weeks, and I told the story.
PlayStation was a little tough.
I told the story how I got the notification from Best Buy, and I was on the train about to hit the tunnel, and I just got the purchase in right when I hit the tunnel, and didn't know if it went through until I got out of the tunnel. And I got out of the tunnel, my purchase went through, and I almost did a backflip on a train.
Probably one of the best gaming stories I've ever heard of triumph.
Yeah, because that I was super nervous that it didn't go through, and literally when I got out of the tunnel, I saw that my purchase went through. I went back to the Best Buy website, and it was sold out.
Wow!
So that whole
you
span
just got in
of
there.
going to that whole tunnel span, which is like 3 minutes long, it sold out. So I was super happy that I got one.
All right.
This is a different journey because it's going to be hard to pre-order, right?
Wow.
And I didn't pre-order it. Let me take that back. I didn't pre-order it. I got it 2 weeks after it came out, and Best Buy gave me notification that they had it in stock. Right. I have more people right now. I have people looking out for me for pre-orders, or if they see it in the store, they know to get it for me. People that I work with, colleagues, because I'm in the legal field, so I have attorneys who sort of work, who work for me. I have them on the lookout. I said, listen, guys, for Christmas, because they sort of work for me. For Christmas, they usually give me like a $700 to $800 bottle of expensive like liquor. I said, look, if you can get me a PS5 or Xbox Series X, we call it a Christmas gift. So I may get this for free. You never know. I have I have my uncle looking out for it. If he sees pre-orders, if he goes into Best Buy, before Black Friday, if he goes into Target and he sees a PS5, you get it for me, because it's gonna be scarce for like the first 2 months.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't have a PS5 and I don't have people looking out for me, but we're all on this Discord, me and like a bunch of friends, and we're all in the video game room, and we're like, all right, today's the day. And on Xbox Day, there was like 8 of us trying to get consoles. Between the 8 of us, we managed to get enough consoles for everybody. So there is a Series X that I'm going to need to go pick up on day 1. It's perfectly fine. So I'm good there. PS5 I couldn't get. I waited online at the GameStop. The first day I strolled in late, they only had 4. This time around, they only had 6. So they are in short supply. Like we're gonna get into a story about all that like later on. We'll get into like what all that means, but I think they're well under what they're expecting to put out in terms of number of consoles. Right. So I may be waiting outside in the freezing cold, right, from midnight to when the store opens to get one.
Oh, hell no, I ain't doing that.
Well, you may not get it day 1 then. You may not get it day 1.
I just like the PS4, I can wait 2 weeks.
Or
well, 3 weeks. I ordered it and got it a week later.
Who knows if they're going to be back in stock at that point, right? Like that's what I'm like trying to say. Like I don't know.
I have faith in Santa. Trust me.
Faith in Santa? You mean Sony? You have faith in Sony?
I have faith in Santa. He'll go to Sony and get one for me.
All right. I like your conviction. I definitely want you to get one. I'm on the lookout for you too. If I can get 2, you'll be the first one to get one. But yeah. So far I've got half the equation. I got the Xbox. I got no PS5 yet.
So Dave, we have an awesome show this week. Coming up, we have an interview with special guest Lily Zaldivar, formerly of IGN and Nintendo Voice Chat. Loved her on that show. I'm not gonna lie, I was fanboying it out. All right, because I used to love her when she was on that podcast.
Yeah.
We also talk Microsoft buying ZeniMax Media and Tokyo Game Show 2020. But before we get into all that, let's begin with Marvel Disney Plus. They've added a new show in development, and that is Sam Jack is coming back as Nick Fury for a Disney Plus show. I'm super excited for that. It just adds more value to the Disney Plus, which I do subscribe to for like $6.99 a month.
There's not a lot on there right now. You got the Mandalorian, and in terms of like new content, right?
You have the Mandalorian. You do have WandaVision show, which is coming out.
Yeah, it's not out on the network yet, so
it's not out, but it's coming. I mean, just like this is not out, but this is in development. That's coming, and they do have the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier show, right?
There's a Loki show. Apparently,
there's a Loki show
is in the works. Hawkeye. So there's definitely stuff on the horizon, but it's not enough for me to be like, all right, I'm gonna subscribe, because I don't know how many times I can see the Aristocats or Fantasia or the original Iron Man. Right?
Well, you
love those movies. Don't get me wrong.
The Lion King. You get to see the Lion King.
It's the circle of life. Yeah, I can watch the horrible CG remake.
I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't great.
See,
it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
When you say I don't think it was that bad, that doesn't say to me I'm going to spend $6.99.
Well, okay, so let me put it in video game terms. It was a solid 7. It was good.
Solid 7. All right.
It was a solid 7.
They're not going to get my money for a solid
Beyonce's
7.
Performance was about a 5.
Or her singing's probably a 10, but
the singing was amazing. It's just her voice acting was terrible.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Well, she wasn't voice acting; she was just talking.
Right. Yeah, she was just having a conversation.
Simba, I can't believe it's you. Yeah, it was just, it was just her.
Mm-hmm.
So, but look, I'm super excited. I mean, think about it. Sam Jack is, as I call him, because we're you
guys are tight like that. You're boys.
We're tight like that. I can call him Sam Jack. I'm like, yo, Sam Jack. Let me talk to you for a second. Let me rap to you. He's a movie star, and he's essentially doing a TV show. And I think this is awesome. Now, what would it be about? I have no clue. I just hope it's not him back in the day, like Captain Marvel, when it was like him back in the day and he looked like a younger Sam Jack. I don't want that. Give me an old Sam Jack. Give it to me right now. I want to know what he's doing right now.
Well, I mean, he kind of works behind the scenes. He's not a superhero per se, right? Like, I don't think he has any superpowers.
His superpower is being a pain in the ass to all those other superheroes.
There you go. He brings people together into these great groups, right? We got SHIELD out of that, thanks to Nick Fury.
So he's a pain in the ass, but I definitely want to see him say motherfucker a couple of times in the TV show.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be on Disney. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Come on, they got to do it. You got to have one. Of
course, you got to do it, but it's Disney.
One motherfucker a season. Just one. Just one. Come on. Just one.
One unbleep motherfucker. I mean, I can get behind that.
All right. So you know what I can't get behind? I'm glad you can get behind that. You know what I can't get behind? Something that looks totally scary. That's this new Mario action figure.
Yeah.
This thing looks like a good guy, a good buddy, or whatever it was called on
the good guy doll.
Play.
Yeah, the good guy doll from Child's Play. Yeah, it's creepy, man.
It looks creepy with this big ass head. It'll just turn you. Just imagine if you got it and you put it on your couch and it just turned its head and said,
spinning around.
It's me, Mario, and you better like me.
Yeah, man, it looks weird. It's funny too because it's made by Jax Pacific, the former developer of the WW2K series. So, I don't know, man. I'm probably not gonna get this.
Oh, I'm not gonna get this. This looks terrible.
Probably not gonna get this because you're right. If I woke up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom, I got a drink of water, and then the Mario thing just turns on and its eyes light up and its head turns, and I'm like,
Well, what if you were drunk and forgot that you took it with you upstairs and you left it by your bed?
And then I step on the button to activate it? Yeah, I'd probably freak out.
Yeah, I know. I'm good. I'm so good. I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm with it.
But you know what I do want or might want? These are the notable games coming out next month.
Mm-hmm. What do we got?
Some of these games I'm going to get. Some of these games I'm definitely not going to get. But the game I'm definitely going to get is a game we're going to start out with coming out on October 2nd for the PS4 and the Xbox One, and that is Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about damn time.
Of course you're going to get this.
With the omission of damn, I'm going to get this game.
Look, I love Crash Bandicoot as a character, and that's about where it begins and ends. Not about these games. I mean, it looks good. No, I don't want to throw any I don't want to throw any shade on the company. Looks like they put a very fine game out. It looks beautiful. I'm sure it's going to be great. It's just not for me.
A game that I'm definitely not getting because I don't have a PC to play it on, and I don't subscribe to Stadia. But I'm sure a lot of people are going to go. A lot of people are excited for, and that is Baldur's Gate 3 coming out October 6th.
Yeah, man. This game is long time coming.
It may be a long time coming, but a game that I know that you're looking forward to, so you could play with your brother, because I know you guys have this connection, and it's coming out for that PS4, Xbox One, and PC October 9th, and that is FIFA 21.
I already got mine pre-ordered, baby. Which sidebar, I can't make heads or tails of this like EA next gen upgrade or whatever, this and that. So I got the game. It seems like it's the only version of the game. It's the only one I could pre-order, so I pre-ordered it. I'm assuming it's going to have a next-gen bump. I don't know. So I may have to return it, but I do have it on pre-order. So it is kind of ready to go for the Series X.
You have it pre-ordered with Amazon?
I have it pre-ordered with Best Buy.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. G.I. Joe is back with G.I. Joe Operation Blackout for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC coming out October 13th.
Did you know this game was coming out?
We did talk about it.
I totally forget. Yeah, it was a bit of a footnote.
It's pretty forgettable. Trust me.
Yeah, well,
a game I'm probably not going to get.
Yeah,
at least
I'm in that same boat, man.
Well, this game we saw at Penny Arcade this year, and you were really high on it, more than I was.
I like the aesthetic. Yeah,
and that's Cloudpunk coming out PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch October 15th.
The physical version? I thought this game was out already.
No, you could. I think you could pre-order this game on Special Reserve Games, but it comes out on the 15th.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But something that I know you said you're going to get. You told me you were going to get this, and that is Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. The actual.
I'm going to get it.
The actual physical car, big cars, racing cars, Mario racing cars for the Switch. Probably going to be a hard pass for me.
Yeah, well, you got to have the room for it. That's the trick. Also, Cloudpunk came out on PCs. This is the console release, so back in April. I thought it was out, but you can only get it on like Steam right now.
Well, you can get it on Steam right now, but if you want the physical, I mean, I guess
the console version in general, yeah.
The console versions you can get. I would maybe you can get it at the stores. I know Special Reserve Games has it on sale.
Do they? Okay.
Yes. So,
but yeah, I mean, live is going to be tough. Live is going to be tough for a lot of people, especially in New York.
I'm going to be honest. I can live in Mike Tyson's old mansion. It still would sit in the box.
You own cardboard, literal cardboard for the Nintendo Labo kits, and you won't get this game.
It's not a game. It's a toy. It
is a game. You use the Switch to play it. It's a controller and a thing. It's a game.
I use a Switch to control a toy. It's a toy. I'm
okay.
Good.
It's like it's augmented reality, and it's fantastic.
And it's fantastic, and it'll look great in the box as it sit on the shelf.
I mean, look, I don't know how often I'm going to play it, but I'm definitely going to get it. So.
You're never going to play it. You're never going to play it. But a game that you will play, a game that we both played with Matt. We put Matt onto this game.
That's right.
Put everybody at Penny Arcade, and that is Ghost Runner. It's coming out October 27th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and it just got announced that it will be coming to the Switch.
Ooh, that is fantastic to hear. This game looks effing amazing. I would bet money that they are going to do a next gen upgrade for it because it's so close to when it's coming out and it's very hardware pushing. I would definitely suspect, yeah.
100%. So the next two games are games I am definitely going to get. Okay, 100% getting, and that is. Coming out October 29th. They're coming out a day apart. October 29th, Watch Dogs Legion for PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC. So I look forward to getting that. And Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming out for the Switch on October 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So I am looking forward to getting those. I'm definitely getting Crash Bandicoot 4, Star Wars Squadron, Watch Dogs Legion, and Pikmin 3. Those are the 4 games.
It's a good month for game. It is a good October, right? It's a very good October.
All right, let's do a follow-up on the story we did last week. I sort of stand corrected when I said Marvel Spider-Man, the original, would have a free upgrade for the PS5, because that's sort of what I saw on the dev's Twitter account, but I guess maybe they were mistaken, or maybe I read it wrong. I interpreted it wrong, but that is been debunked. Marvel Spider-Man will not be a free upgrade, just like Control will not be a free upgrade for next gen. If you want Marvel Spider-Man, you need to buy Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Deluxe Edition, that will cost $70, and that will include the enhanced version of Marvel Spider-Man for PS5. Just like Control, you must buy the deluxe version if you want to play it on Xbox Series X and PS5.
Yeah,
so just a little follow-up.
You know my stance on this. Like, I get it because you make the point that it it obviously takes like time and R&D, and it takes a manpower to get it to run and work and this and that on the next gen console, and that requires money, right? From the fans' perspective, though,
they don't care. They want something free.
It doesn't look great. Well, no. From the fan perspective, it just doesn't look great. It's like, oh, well, the fan's going to see it as like the money grubbing company is like, well, we're going to try and nickel and dime you for all this other stuff, right? Like, you should be able to sell a bunch of copies and say, hey, you have it already, we're going to give you the upgrade. But that seems to not be the case. Like, their Control was setting a precedent. Spider-Man's now setting a precedent. They're like, look, we can't afford to give you the next gen upgrade. So
I'm a fan, and I see it as me paying the devs for their hard work, and thank you for making an incredible game.
Well, I mean,
my perspective.
You did that already, though. You had them make the original game. You paid.
If I want to play the PS4 version that they made, I already have that. But if I want to play the upgraded version that they went back into and put hard work in to make sure it has the enhancements to it, I have to pay money for that. And it's not full price. It's not like it's $60. It's not like they get me for $60 twice.
You get they get you for $50.
Well, Control may be $50, but for Spider-Man, it's essentially $20.
Is it?
Yeah, because it comes with Miles Morales for $70 when Miles Morales only costs $50. You can buy Miles Morales by itself for $50, but if you want the Spider-Man version,
you can say the game is $50 and then an additional $20 for a visual upgrade.
Correct.
I mean, I'm just saying, compare that to Gears of War, which you're getting a free upgrade, 120 hertz and 4K visuals for free. As well as like their back catalog is getting like upgraded. So I'm just saying, from like a fan perspective, it looks good on Microsoft's part, even though somebody is paying for it, and that company is Microsoft. Like, Microsoft is putting in the money for it.
And when I go to Costco's, they give me free samples, and when I go to BJ's, they don't. I don't expect free samples every time I go to the store. I have to pay for it if I want to eat it. Well,
I'm not saying any of that. It's just
because someone else is doing it differently doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just they have a different strategy, and that's cool. That's good. I'm okay with paying for it.
I by all means go for it. By all means go for it.
So, Dave, as we always try to start the show, but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Well, Dan, the info sheet may be blank, but I can tell you that I have been playing Tony Hawk, and I have beaten Tony Hawk. I took my creative character, who is a very good skater, by the way. I took that to completion. I beat every single level. I got all of the achievements. I got gold in all the damn competitions. That game is in the books, and it's fantastic. There's still some more stuff. Like, you can unlock Jack Black as Officer Dick, which is kind of funny. Yeah.
It's always funny when I hear that. It's so funny.
He was in the original game, but it wasn't Jack Black as him. It was just like, the beat cop or whatever who eats donuts, and it was funny. But they got Jack Black in to do all the mocap. And there's apparently an alien you can get in the game, so maybe I'll go ahead and do that. I don't know. There's just a lot going on right now. And then the other game that I'm playing, I have gotten back into Final Fantasy XII, the remake for PS4. So I'm making my way through that, making some good progress there. I hope to by the next episode. I hope to have that game completed. So, how about you? What have you been getting into?
Well, I finished Watch Dogs on Wii U, the original Watch Dogs. I stand by my score I did on my Saturday morning retro episode 4 in August. So if you want to know my score and know my thoughts on the game, go back and listen to that episode. I still stand by that. The only difference I would say is the story gets better 5 hours in, right? Which at the end, I love the ending of the game. So definitely stand by that score. What I don't stand by is my purchase of WWE Battlegrounds. I bought it for the Switch.
Ooh, yeah.
And this game's a no-go for me. I'm sorry. My biggest no-no in these type of games, there should be more characters available than locked. I'm sorry. They talked about this game has X amount of characters. You can only play as like 7 of them. You got to unlock them through the story mode or microtransactions, which is ridiculous. So I'm good.
So what you're telling me is you're upset by a company nickel and diming you?
No, I'm upset by a company having the characters on the cover with the illusion that I can play those characters, right? Like when Goldberg was when he first came into Ultimate Warrior, or Kurt Angle when he came back to WWE, right? They were unlockable characters in the game, but they weren't on the cover. It was like they weren't on the cover. Right, so, like you could play other characters. You had more characters at your disposal.
So you'd be okay. You'd be okay if the characters on the cover, as advertised, were in the game to start off playing as. You'd be good with just those 6 characters.
If they had 6 characters in the cover and they said this is it, like they did back in WWE Arcade.
Well, I mean that was 30 years ago, Dan. Then sure. I'm sorry. That is a terrible look. Like on the cover or not, you got like false advertising for one, which is kind of shitty. But to only have 6 characters is weak.
Well, it's like 7 characters that you can play. That's
less than the starting roster of Street Fighter 2, which came out in 1991. All right, that is a 30-year-old game.
Here's the thing that sucks too, right? Okay, you have 7 characters. Like 3 or 4 of those characters are characters no one would ever want to play as in the first place.
Is it like who's the little like midget guy? Is it the Sheamus or whatever? Isn't there like a little person?
Sheamus. Wow, you haven't watched wrestling in so
I don't know. It's been a while.
First of all, Sheamus is like 6'6". He's taller than me.
It's not the guy I'm thinking of.
No,
there was like a little guy.
He was like he played like a leprechaun for Fit Finley, and he was Vince McMahon's illegitimate son, which was a terrible storyline.
Oh yeah, I have so many problems with that.
Yes,
like,
no, he's not in there.
Okay.
WWE let him go like 10 years ago. He doesn't work there anymore.
Okay.
But I just my biggest issue is there should be more characters that you could play.
Agreed.
From the start than locked. If they had like 5 special characters locked, and it's like you want to play as the Undertaker, or you want to play as
like the Legends. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, if it was like Legends, then okay, then I'm
100% with you. Like even if it was like a 12-8 split, right? You get 12 to start. It's a little small, but I'll take it. And then like 8 behind that you could grind out for or pay for. Like I would be a little more okay with that. But yeah, 6 or 7 is a little weak. Like
yeah. Definitely not big on that. And the gameplay is simplistic because it's meant to not be a wrestling simulator, but just for you to jump in and play. And I don't have a big problem with that. My biggest issue is just the character select screen. And you don't get the full entrances. It's like they all have
really?
sort of they all have sort of that same arcadey entrance where you get, you know, thrusted down in a crate, and then the music hits, and then they just walk to the ring.
Right.
I kind of want like I kind of want some semblance of their entrance. That would be cool.
Right. Yeah, you want it to match, even though it's like over the top action. You want it to feel like a WWE presentation.
I have nostalgia for WWE. What was it, WWE or WrestleMania arcade, or just arcade that came out, that arcadey type game?
The one in the mid '90s, yeah.
The one in the mid '90s, but I don't want a new one like that. Make it better. Just make it better. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
So, all right. Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we get into the top gaming news of last week.
Hey, this is Matt Adler, freelance journalist for IGN, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers podcast.
And we're back. Let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We have to start with a blockbuster. This shook the video game industry. Like this was like major news. Microsoft buys Bethesda. Well, they bought ZeniMax Media, which is the parent company
of Bethesda,
for Bethesda.
But that's really what. Yeah, you're buying it for Bethesda. I don't know what other properties they own.
You're buying it for Pete Hines. He spent $7.5 billion. Let that sink in a little, okay? All right,
billion with a B.
With a B. That's more. That is more than what Amazon bought Twitch for, what Disney bought Star Wars for, and what Microsoft bought Minecraft for combined.
I bet it's more than what whoever bought the Mets paid for the Mets.
Yes. Oh, the Mets is not the Mets. First of all, the Mets aren't worth $7 billion. They're not even worth $3 billion.
Right. But just to think, like you now own this company. Is now under your umbrella. You own. Well, I mean, let's just kind of go over some of the hits. You've got Doom, you've got Wolfenstein, you've got Fallout. You've got Dishonored. You've got The Elder Scrolls, right? Like any one of those, you would be over the moon to have as a franchise. They're all successful franchises. That's crazy. I don't know what to think about this.
Oh, and they have, and you know, I know Microsoft or Xbox isn't getting into VR, but they have VR technology too, right? Because ZeniMax was working. They sued Facebook over the Oculus technology. They were trying to stop Oculuses from being sold.
Right, because John Carmack was involved in both, and some of that tech came from the Bethesda days. Yeah.
So they own that tech. That's
interesting.
That's just bananas.
I wonder if they'll do anything with it. All right, I wonder if they'll do anything with it.
This just shook the industry. I mean, look, you talk about if you want Western RPGs. Like Microsoft can say that they could be the exclusive place for Western RPGs because they have
almost exclusively, yeah.
They have Bethesda and they have Obsidian.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know everyone's making the sort of Fallout New Vegas references,
right? Because
now,
New Vegas was fantastic.
Around.
Yeah, man. The one of the devs or one of like the lead devs was like. Because he got asked the question directly. It's like, does this mean New Vegas too? And he just put the little emoji with the guy with his hands up, like, I don't know, maybe. So further fueling the rumors that
they're still working on Outer Worlds.
I mean, it's a very, very good game, Dad. Very good game.
And they just put out an expansion. He's like, oh, relax. We didn't know about this. We didn't have any inside knowledge. We just found out about this too.
Yeah,
maybe.
So how do you feel about the acquisition?
I think this is great. Well, for Microsoft, this is great.
It's great for Microsoft, yeah.
I think it's great for Microsoft. I think. Well, first of all, they said that. Ryan McCaffrey, IGN, stated that his sources said this was a deal in the works for years. Like they almost had a deal 2 years ago. Think about it. When the Xbox Xbox One X was announced, they could have had this in the bag too, right? Back then, but the deal fell through. So now it happened, and it's just an amazing thing to think that I can actually get a Doom guy in Gears of War. Potentially, I'm just saying. That's what I want. That's the biggest thing I want out of this. I want to play as Doom guy in Gears of War.
You know what? The crossover is there. The crossover. They could make their own version of Smash Brothers at this point.
Well, what was the biggest knock on Microsoft on Xbox, right? They had a lot of their first party games were like multiplayer games. They didn't have any single player campaigns. Now
yeah, because they were all about the multiplayer experience. That was their kind of mission statement.
But now they have Doom. Now they have Dishonored.
Yeah.
Now they have Prey.
The Elder Scrolls. Come on now.
They have the Elder Scrolls.
Right.
You have four. You have four big to fairly big franchises that are single player experiences, and you have that Microsoft money behind it. You can make Prey a better series. Right? You can make the Prey 2 that they wanted to make in the first place, and not that remake that turned out to be sort of like a half horror game.
Right. And then I guess the other big news out of this too is that as soon as they announced that, they're like, yeah, and then all these games are available on Microsoft Game Pass. So there you go. Like feather in the cap. Like, oh my God. So instant win.
Todd Howard is not going anywhere. At least, I'm sure he can retire now because, he's worked for Bethesda for 20 some odd years. So I'm
he's
sure
the head, right?
So I'm sure he had to have some ownership in Bethesda, right? So he had to make out like a bandit. But he can retire. He doesn't have to do this anymore. He doesn't have to work anymore. But he made sure to tell everybody that he will still be there. That was probably part of the deal where it's like, Todd, you got to be here for another 5 years, then you can leave.
Yeah.
I think. What's your favorite? Let's just say off the premise that all these games are going to be exclusive to Xbox, right? I don't think that's the case because Phil Spencer did say that it'll be a case by case basis, and I think games like Elder Scrolls. I think Elder Scrolls will be that'll be multi-platform. But like any new IP that's being developed, will be sort of like, hey, this is only Xbox only. And I think games like Dishonored and Doom will be Xbox only for like a year, at least.
There has to be some sort of exclusivity to say, hey, only on Xbox.
I mean, for $7 billion, you want to recoup that money at some point.
Exactly, right? You want to get people to get into Games Pass and play all the, Bethesda games, which are incredibly good.
But what would be the biggest franchise? Let's just say it's exclusive. What would be the biggest sequel, right, that you would be looking forward to? That would be on an Xbox Series X.
It's got to be Doom or Wolfenstein, hands down.
Pick one. Feet to the fire. Doom 3, new Doom 3, or Wolfenstein 3. Feet to the fire. You can only have one. You can only take one. You're falling.
Give me Doom.
You want Doom? Okay.
Yeah, of course. How about you?
I'm not a big Dishonored fan.
Right.
I didn't like Prey at all.
It was a weird one.
It was weird.
Because they already tried to reinvent the series at that point, and it didn't quite hit the mark, I guess.
They have the Evil Within too, but I'm not a spooky game guy, so I'm gonna say Elder Scrolls.
That's Elder Scrolls, yeah. That's huge. Elder Scrolls is huge. People are still playing Skyrim to this day, and you can play it on everything. It's the Minecraft of, well, I was gonna say the video game world, but. It's everywhere.
Well, that's why I think Elder Scrolls will be multi-platform, when it comes out. I don't think they're going to do anything with that. I think, again, new IP that comes out, like that big new RPG that they were working on, I think that will be this is only on Xbox if you want it, right?
There's got to be some exclusive stuff. Otherwise,
why spend $7 billion on it?
Right. It devalues it a little bit if you can't get exclusive games and exclusive games that you can play on Games Pass. That's the really appealing bit. But
I thought was interesting that they put it out, that they announced that they that they purchased this. They purchased Bethesda the day before pre-orders went live.
Oh, that is a calculated move, right? Yeah. If you need an incentive to get a Series X, and I think some people do, this is a good incentive, right? Games Pass, bunch of new games. There it is.
Well, you still, I mean, this is sort of for the long haul, right? Like, it's still, like, Halo is delayed, and they lost a little hype because Halo's delayed. So this sort of generates hype, but you're still in the same position because there are no new Bethesda games that are coming out that are going to be exclusive for the Xbox.
There is no Spider-Man. There is no Ratchet and Clank. Like, those are what is going to get the early sales of the PlayStation, right? They have those. Microsoft doesn't. They have good cross-gen compatibility. They have their whole entire library, more or less, is able to be played, but is that $500? Am I going to pay $500 to play Fusion Frenzy? The answer is no. So yeah, it is very much the long game, right? They have all these studios, these 12 in-house studios at least, 13, 14, however many it is.
No, they have 23 in-house studios.
23 in-house studios, like top-tier studios. Like, they have Double Fine now, but they have yet to reap the benefits of any of those studios, really. So I think 2021 is going to be a banner year for Microsoft. I think it's going to be big. They're going to start to see some of their return because they've been spending a lot of money. Like, this is not cheap.
But let's just okay. They have Bethesda now. They have all the studios that were under the ZeniMax Media umbrella, right? But just Bethesda was the main one. They have that now. Going forward, they're gonna do great. They generated buzz for the pre-orders, even though I think the pre-orders are gonna sell out regardless. But now they generated lots of buzz, right? And pre-orders, funny enough, they sold out of pre-orders in Japan, of all places, which is crazy. That's crazy, and like that's like bananas right there for me. But
they typically don't do well.
They typically don't do well in that. We're getting to that in just a second, but I think the hilarious part is people accidentally brought an Xbox One X when they were trying to pre-order a Series X.
Oh, well, that's not surprising. People don't realize
the naming sucks, right? I mean, come on. I mean, you know, you have the Xbox One, you have the Xbox One S, you have the Xbox One X, you have the Xbox Series S, and you have the Xbox Series X. Come on.
I mean,
people are going to get confused.
The branding is, I think the branding is good because it's like all under Xbox, but yeah, you know, you're like, is this the right version? I don't know. And I only have 2 seconds to check out. So that's upsetting. I mean, I'm sure they just refunded, you know, they're like, nope, I don't want it. I got the wrong one. Yeah, that's you know, that's a little wild. That's a little wild.
As a side note, the Xbox Series X expansion card, the price actually released for that too, and you could buy it. Or you could pre-order it too, and I gotta say, it's ridiculous. It's a 1 terabyte expansion card that costs $219.
Yeah, well, it's special NVMe hard drives. It's not a standard SSD external hard drive. It is the latest and greatest, the fastest throughput in terms of a hard drive. And this is the same tech that, you know, PlayStation is offering on like their system. So if you want to stream games from an external source, this is what you need, right? PlayStation has options. This is options.
Well, this is a proprietary card, right, made by Seagate for the Series X.
Yep.
PlayStation, they have their special, right, you know, hard drive, but they are other manufacturers that will meet the PlayStation sort of specs that you can buy too, right? So they at least PlayStation gives you sort of options. They didn't give you options when it came to the memory cards for the PSP and the PS Vita.
They didn't, no, and that was a bit of their downfall. They're like, we're gonna capitalize on this and double dip. You know,
but they
have
do
our own
give
memory
you
cards.
But they do give you options for the hard drive, unlike Microsoft in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad that Seagate is the only game in town because there's no competition, but Yeah, I mean, there's just no way about it. Like it's bad in that respect. So you don't get like we have one for 200 and we have one for 220, but it is fair to note that you can't just pick up any hard drive off the shelf and stream the next gen current titles. You can do that with PS4 titles and regular Xbox titles with any standard hard drive, right? Any like USB 3.0 hard drive is fine. It has enough throughput on there. But for next gen, it needs to be at a certain level. So it's good on Sony that there's multiple options available. I'm curious to see what those price points are for them. But yeah, for the foreseeable future, you're going to have to buy this 220 expansion card, right? This high-speed NVMe 1 terabyte card. And it's going to hurt because that's like the price of, well, if next-gen games are all $70, that's the price of 3 next-gen games for just one hard drive. So
think
and
about it. If you buy a Series S and you buy an expansion card, it would be the same price as a Series X. So you might as well just buy a Series X, which does have more hard drive space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, the PlayStation external hard drive prices are going to be like at this price point too. Like, I don't think it's going to be that much cheaper because it's the same NVMe style storage, right? It's still next gen storage capability.
Well, we'll see. And then if they do come out and it's like $200, $300, I'm going to criticize them too.
Yeah.
So, all right, overshadowed. Okay, this was overshadowed by the blockbuster Microsoft buying Bethesda. We had Tokyo Game Show, the digital show, this week. So, like, that's crazy. Totally forgot about this. Overshadowed. I like to see some of the things that come out of Tokyo Game Show because it's Japan's version of E3, right? But a lot of Japanese centric games. I don't want to go through everything, but some of the highlights for me, we got Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity gameplay, right? We got to see a young Impa fight in the game, where I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely picking this up in November. We got gameplay of Nier Rep. Okay, I hope this is a working title and not the real name because this is kind of weird and funny if this is actual name, but it's Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139.
Say that 10 times fast.
Well, it's coming to the West in April 2021. I like the Nier Automata. I didn't play the first Nier. I do own it. So I am looking forward to playing this and getting this on here. We got Resident Evil. We got some. I don't know if it was gameplay, but they did talk about Resident Evil 8: The Village, right? Or Resident Evil Village,
right?
And they cleared up one of the rumors, or maybe multiple reports of saying different things. When this first was announced, this was announced just to be next gen, right? It was just coming out on PS5 and Xbox Series X. And IGN, I saw an IGN maybe a couple of months ago, or a month after this game was announced, that this game is coming to current gen and next gen. And they sort of clarified that it's definitely a next gen game, that they're trying to see if they can get it on PS4 and Xbox One, but they can't make a promise.
Right, because this is right in that precipice of like current gen, next gen, and if you can, by all means, do it. A la Madden or FIFA or whatever. Right? They always make that next gen jump, but also put it out for the previous generation. But it's tough, man. Like I would not suspect Resident Evil 8 to be a current gen title as well as a next gen title. I would say go all in on the next gen, right? As much as you want to put it out for current gen, like it's probably going to be a bridge too far.
So we got Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. It's a playable demo November 13th.
Right. This is the rhythm action game in the vein of Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm or Dragon Warrior Theater Rhythm. So that's kind of cool. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, this is a huge fan service.
And again, we talked about earlier about Xbox Series S and X pre-orders selling out in Japan, which is like a terrific feat, right? Because Microsoft has done terrible in Japan historically. But I think one of the reasons why it's doing so well is that they reduced the price of the Xbox Series S by $28. Think about that. So you can get in Japan, you can get a Series S for the equivalent of $269.99.
That's insane. Like, they're already at the best price point. It's interesting that they would already like dump it even further to be like, nope, we have to sell it out, right? We got to be able to say pre-orders are done. Like, everyone's got a copy of it. That's yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
They're trying to get a foothold in Japan. I mean, that's just what it is. They're trying to get a foothold in Japan.
Yeah, I mean they've been trying to get a foothold in Japan ever since the original Xbox.
This is the best way they can do it.
I mean, I get a $28 price difference is not going to make it. You need Capcom and Square and all the other great Japanese developers to say we are making exclusive games for this system, and they did. They tried to get Hironobu Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy, to say, hey, make an exclusive RPG for our system. And they did, and it was good, but not enough to bring people.
Before they get the games for the system, they need to sell some consoles. So lowering it $28 so far seems to be working.
Fair enough.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's go to Nintendo, right? Like, what does Nintendo have? We don't know. There's rumors about Switch Pros. We don't know. There are no big first-party games that are coming out anytime soon that we know of, and we're still waiting for Metroid Prime 4 to come. Right? That's the big shoe that hasn't dropped yet. Recently, a God of War dev just joined Retro Studios, and this guy, he's joined Retro Studios to help on the development of Metroid Prime 4. He worked on God of War. He designed the layouts, the AI scripting, navigation sequences, fight spaces, and puzzle design, just to name a few things. This tells me personally, Metroid Prime 4, not ready yet. Still not ready yet. Nowhere near ready.
The Bandai Namco production that they had going on, was terrible apparently, and we'll probably never see it unless there's another massive leak from Nintendo in the near future. But I'm 100% with you. When you try and get big people in to be like, we're gonna get this hot talent, you need to like have that vision early on, because otherwise, like, you have a bad foundation and you're just trying to like put some tar paper on the roof and make it look good. But you need a strong foundation. So I mean, I think you're right. This may be 2022 now. This may be 2022, maybe like a March 2022. All right, that may give them enough time.
I think this will be the swan song for the Switch.
Could be. If we get a new console coming soon, could be.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let them take the time that they need. Retro Studios knows what they're doing. They made 3 great Metroid Prime games. When everybody said, oh, God, why is it going 3D? Oh, God, who is this new studio? All right, they were untested, and they said, no. Don't fret. And it was amazing. They were really good games, all of them. So I have faith. All
right. Well, Dave, I got some exciting news.
Oh.
All right. Are you ready? A new challenger has just entered.
Here comes a new challenger!
Amazon has thrown their hat into the streaming mix.
Oh, boy.
I mean, we have Project xCloud, right, which is like running circles around Stadia. And there was rumors that Amazon and Verizon, they were going to throw their hat into the streaming mix. And it looks like Amazon has that shoe has dropped. They've announced and unveiled a cloud gaming service called Luna.
Interesting name. Okay. Not surprising. It's not
all
surprising.
purple. It has like sort of like a purple aesthetic. I mean, which sort of fits with Twitch, right?
Yeah. Twitch has had the purple controller, right?
Yeah. Luna. They describe Luna as a cross between Games Pass and Stadia, where you do have to pay a subscription cost. And right now, the early access subscription cost period is $5.99 a month.
That's a really good price.
And they did say, the price is subject to go up once it's out of early access.
Yeah. They just want to get people in early, get them excited. Here's an introductory offer, and then they'll jack it up to $10. I'm assuming $10 to $15 per month.
And it promises subscribers that you can play two devices simultaneously.
That's cool.
4K resolution,
head-to-head
60
play.
frames, 60 frames per second refresh rates. And Luna users will be able to jump into games directly from Twitch streams as well.
That's kind of cool.
That Twitch integration.
Yeah.
And they've already partnered up with Ubisoft. Ubisoft just goes everywhere. They're saying, hey, you have something new and cool. We want to be a part of it because we don't know.
Yeah, they're on everything.
So they partner with Ubisoft, and they're gonna have multiple channels. Ubisoft has multiple channels in development to where it lets players access games, by publisher and genre. And Ubisoft has already said there'll be an Assassin's Creed Valhalla channel, and I think a Watch Dogs Legion channel. So
sure.
I mean, the controller looks exactly like the Switch Pro controller.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to do something like crazy weird. You want to stay the course, right? Two analog triggers at each side, 4 face buttons, analog sticks, a D-pad, a start button, and whatever your like home screen button or options button is, and call it a day.
I'm not gonna, well, they have some heavy hitters part of the service right now. I mean, they have Resident Evil 7, Control, Panzer Dragoon, Ukulele. Looks like they have Sonic Mania, Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night.
Right. So it's it's a good mix of AAA titles and kind of indie titles on there, which is awesome. It's the interface looks pretty clean.
The controller has a headphone jack, unlike the Switch Pro controller.
Yeah.
It looks. I know you're not a big comic or DC guy, but the Luna logo that's on the middle of the controller looks like a Brainiac, a Brainiac logo, which is Brainiac was one of the main villains for Superman. He was Ultron of the DC universe. Yeah.
No, Brainiac I know. I don't know his little symbol though, but that's interesting. Yeah, man. I mean, this is competition for Stadia, and I guess also for Games Pass, right? This is a third competitor in the ring with a company that's got money.
This is why Microsoft sent $7 billion in Bethesda.
Yeah, right? They're like, So, is there going to be room for a third company when Stadia is already struggling to kind of get the foothold? Yeah, I certainly think so. With enough money and, a solid service and good game selection, that's all you need.
Well, you talk about third. I mean, what about a fourth one? Verizon has been rumored the worst kept secret in the world. They're rumored to get into the streaming business too.
Well, they better get in quick. Like, I know they have a ton of money, but it's you can only have so many services before people were like, right?
Well, we have that now with just streaming services in general, watching movies. We have CBS All Access, the Peacock,
HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu.
Yeah, we already have so many. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You gotta just say after a point, it's like, nah, too much. I'm good.
All right. So let's end news stories with something that is I can't wait for, something I'm looking forward to, and that is the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley has announced he did do a deep dive interview with Ryan McCaffrey last month. Yes, it was in August. And he did say there was going to be a Game Awards, but it wasn't officially announced yet. But now we have a date. It's December 10th. So this is going to be interesting to see this, the Game Awards, sort of what they do with it, right? Now that they can't have people sort of indoors. I'm curious to see, because he did say when he did that interview with Ryan McCaffrey that he has to book the venue at least 10 to 9 months in advance.
Oh,
right.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, he has to, obviously get the date down. So no one, no other concert or anything can take that date.
Right.
So did he already pay for it? Right. And
I
he
sure
has
hope
to use
not.
the venue in some way.
Because I don't know if you get your deposit back on that. I don't know all the details. Like, it's just like when all those companies didn't show up to PAX East, right? Like Sony didn't come and Capcom didn't come. I don't think they got their money back. I think they, they're like, look,
if they actually
we don't want to take
booked
any risks.
If they actually booked it, at that time, because remember, the quarantine didn't happen until March.
Yeah, I think people started locking down about like mid-March. Yeah, that was really kind of the thing.
So so I don't know if he actually locked down that date then, just in case, right? But I'm curious to see. He said it's not going to just be him sitting in front of a green screen giving out awards. So I'm kind of curious to see how they mix it up and make it interesting.
Right. I bet. So I don't know if you watched the Emmys, but it was kind of funny. What they ended up doing is they had a crew show up to each person's house who was like the winner, and then they'd like ring the doorbell, and they would, they'd have the masks on and everything else, but they go, "Here's your Emmy," and I thought that was kind of cool. I highly doubt Keeley's going to do that, but I feel like he'll probably like ship him out ahead of time and go, "Hey, you won. Keep it a secret, and we're gonna like put a camera and whatever and like do that." So
Well, an acceptance speech.
Right.
Video.
Right. I think they'll have that. What else they're gonna have? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's got some vignettes lined up that he's recorded ahead of time with some other people. Maybe like that's a thing. I don't know. But it's definitely going to be different. You're not going to get the Chic Hydro Man dancing on stage.
And Jedi Fallen Order is going to be nominated for Game of the Year in 2020, even though it came out in 2019.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's weird. I mean, at least it's a year to year. It doesn't start January 1st, but it is what it is. Well, all right. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, our interview with Lily Zaldivar. And we're back. We have on the show today special guest Lily Zaldivar. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
It's amazing to have you on. Just to go over some of your credentials real quick, if you don't mind. You were employed with GameStop, IGN, ILM VFX, Leica Studios. All right. You were a major part of the Nintendo voice chat, which me and Dan are big fans of. And you are currently the animation production coordinator at Viz Media. And we believe, is this true, that you just celebrated your 1-year anniversary?
I did. Yeah, I celebrated it on Wednesday.
Oh,
nice.
well,
Congratulations.
Kudos.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That's got to be amazing, right? It's nice to...
Yeah, it feels good. I made the joke that this is my first ever work anniversary because every single other job that I've had, I've either left... I think the one job that I almost was at a year, I left 4 days before my work anniversary.
Oh my God.
So this is like the closest, and this is the only job that I've had a work anniversary with. And my coworkers and I used to make the joke that it was because coronavirus really helped with that. And I said, well, let's not give Miss Rona, her all her props, but I will neither confirm nor deny.
Nice. So what do you do at Viz Media currently? We're kind of like curious what your role is, what your job is, because.
So I work. So the whole term animation production coordinator is very broad, but what I do is I help a lot with the art assets that you see on our partner sites. So Hulu. Sometimes Netflix, but Netflix kind of does their own thing. But like, for example, the Funimation deal that just happened, where Viz Media and Funimation have partnered together. All the assets that you see on the show page are from me and the team that I coordinate with. So I make sure that our product looks really good on site. When you buy something on Amazon, when you buy something on the PlayStation Store, that art is what I facilitate and make sure that it looks real good and real nice. That's wonderful. A lot of what I do. So I also kind of watch anime sometimes and then help with the closed captions. So there's a lot of watching of anime.
Hey, that's not bad. I'm a Dragon Ball fan. I like my Naruto. All right.
I mean, Naruto is our boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fantastic. So you are part of the reason, or mostly the reason, why me and Dan buy so much stuff on Amazon. Then, right?
When it comes to if you look at a product and you're like, that's some really good art. Yeah. I made sure it looked real good for you to buy something.
Very nice. Yeah. Yeah. And like, how do you like doing that as like a job? Like, I think it'd be pretty cool, right? I mean, I like working whenever I get a chance to work on like a known property, which is few and far between, but it has happened. It just feels kind of good to be like a part of that. Like, I don't know how you feel.
I really like the job that I do currently because not only do I work with art assets, but I also work within editing. So it's a mix of two things that like in college I really wanted to do. One of the things I really like about this job is that I feel like I've grown a lot when it comes to time management and kind of like taking charge and all that stuff. So I really like my job. I really like what I do. It's like a very small piece of like what happens behind the scenes, but it's so incredible and it's so worthwhile. And like I can look at the Viz Funimation deal and be like, I was a part of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like to know that so many people are going to watch all of these shows and have a good time, and like, you could just get Funimation and like watch all these shows. I don't know. It just feels really rewarding in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really like the content. If I didn't like the content, I wouldn't feel as fulfilled. Like it wouldn't be as fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, anime never dies. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Still going strong in 2020.
I mean, it's probably the best time for anime to exist, to be honest.
Oh my God, I know. Like you don't know how many shows me and Dan just like binge all the time. And it's like, oh, here's like a whole series. Well, I ain't doing anything for the next month.
Go ahead and
check this out.
When what was it? One of my favorite animes that they like revitalized and they have a new season. It's called Fruits Basket. And they're like,
I've heard of that.
2.
Yeah. And like, I wanted to get into that one.
Oh, it's so cute. It's just so cute. Okay, but they had like season 1, right? And then they said season 2 is coming out in April. And I was so worried that like Corona would delay it. Nope. All of the episodes came out and I went, this is the greatest day ever. I'm so excited. And then I got into Hunter x Hunter. And then I started watching Inuyasha because like the new show spinoff like is coming out. And I was like, oh, so much anime. I can't even deal with it.
See, I can't do anything until I get caught up with Dragon Ball Z. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. I know Dragon Ball Super. I've seen one episode. I went to the movies to see the movie, 2-3 years ago. So I haven't caught up with anything yet. I know it's on Cartoon Network. I have it actually all downloaded, and I just haven't found the time to do it. I have to do that first before I get into any other show. I gotta get caught up with Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, do that, and then after that, oh my God, there's just so much. I would say Hunter x Hunter, if you get into it, I think the show, if you watch it anywhere, it goes up to like episode 99. So like episode 100 through 148, like good luck finding that.
Oh.
So if you have this whole idea of like, I'm going to watch all these shows and then I'm going to go to the next one, don't do it with Hunter x Hunter because you'll have to wait. I don't know how long, but so just a warning.
I did. I was super impressed with Naruto that I don't think they ever missed a week. Every week was a new episode for I don't know how many years of like the original run, and I'm like, kudos to them, because like if like the team is sick one week, they're like you still got to come in, you still got to put this episode together. Like,
I mean, they did it for that, but I appreciate that with Boruto they took some time to take a break, and then it was like pandemic was more important than a show, even though the show got delayed right when like a really incredible arc was coming out, so the want and the need was there.
Sure.
I gotta be honest. I was a little nervous when you were coming on the show because I'm actually a big fan. I watched I still watch, I continue to watch Unlocked, Podcast Beyond, and I was a huge fan of Nintendo Voice Chat, and it was sad to see you leave IGN because I loved you on that show. So I'm kind of like fanboying right now. You're on the show, so it's an honor.
Thank you. It's an honor to talk about it. You know what I mean? And talk to you.
So how was it like being on Nintendo Voice Chat? Like, how was it working at IGN back in the day?
So when I first the first episode that I was ever on it was talking about Splatoon 2, and it was because Pear was playing Splatoon 2 in front of my desk, and I'm a big fan of that series. Like, I love it, you know, like, oh my goodness. And when he was playing it, I said, oh, if you do this, if you do that, like this gun, if you like, I basically was telling him, like, I was backseat gaming to, you know, Mr. Pear Schneider.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my God, like, you know, and he just looked at me and he's like, you know a lot about this game. And I was like, I really do. And then he asked me later if I wanted to be on the show talking about it. And I could, the emotions I felt were horrified because, you know, when you're going to be on a podcast and you're a female and, you know, you have never been on a podcast before, it is horrifying. And I look back on the episode and I can tell that I'm horrified because I don't want to be criticized for a game that I really know a lot about. Mm-hmm. And then, but when I did that episode, it felt so exhilarating to do because I really liked doing it. I really liked podcasting. I really liked having that feeling. So I really wanted to find a way to keep doing it. And I remember I was so adamant. I was like, when can I be back on the show? When can I do this? When can I do that? And I think the second episode that I was able to be on was the one where we said 5 things we want to, that we could, if we could change it, what would it be for Splatoon 2? Mm-hmm. And my biggest one was what needs to change is the loadout. Like, I don't want to go back out of the game and then go back in to change my gear, which they implemented. So like tight. But
well, I listened.
But yeah, so the feeling was exhilarating. It was awesome. And when someone who we do not speak of came on the show, you know, he was new and we worked a lot together when it came to NBC. Like, we both really cared about the show. Like, I think even though it wasn't my job, I loved that show to death. And I loved talking about Nintendo and I loved talking to people. Like, I'm still friends with a lot of people who met me through NBC, you know, and I always say that NBC, the one thing that it gave me, like, even working at IGN, like, I met a lot of people who may not be video game journalists, but they have such a big passion for games. And I love talking to each and every single one of them. Like you guys, I would have not known that you guys really loved video games or like that you were passionate for it had it not been for IGN, had it not been for NBC. And that's what I think is like the most rewarding part, is that I get to talk to people who are just as equally passionate about video games as I am. So it sucks that I'm not on the show anymore. It sucks that like, that I don't do like podcasting as much. Cause like, I don't know. That's just like, I don't know. I'm weird like that, but I love talking to you guys and to people about video games. Like, just message me and I'll be like, you want to talk about Splatoon 3 when it comes out eventually one day? I don't know. I'm gonna throw that into the ether, but like, if you message me, I'll respond, you know, because I want to. And like, that's what I like. That's what I loved about NBC, is that I got to know you guys.
Sure. Well, and well, I mean, it feels like, and we're pretty certain that your Nintendo is your platform, right?
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie though. Like, if someone asked me what is my number one console, and this is going to be crazy to say, it's PlayStation 2.
Ah, there you go. There you go. PS2 was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was like, SNES was my first system, but PlayStation 2, like, I still have that baby hooked up, so.
Nice.
But yes, Nintendo would be my main platform.
Well, I will say before we move on, Nintendo voice chat hasn't been the same without you and Jose Otero. I'm just going to throw that out there. You two
yeah, seriously,
were great on the show.
It's missing a little bit, right? And,
the show is still great now. But I would love to have both of you guys back. It's like, just love to see you guys come back. Just like a special reunion show or something like that. That would be awesome.
Do you think they'd ever do that? Like, have you back on as like a guest?
I don't know. I think that's up to Casey, and Casey's the main host, which, like, I've never been more happy about that news. You know what I mean? But it's up to Casey. It's up to, really the IGN team if they want to ever have me back, maybe for Splatoon 3. I will say, though, like, hands will be thrown if a Waluigi game ever comes out and I'm not on the show. Like, I will throw hands.
Yeah, he has gotten the short shift on everything. Like
well, I
Luigi,
guarantee you, if Waluigi comes out, you could be on our show and talk.
Yeah, we'll give you all the time in the world to talk about it.
I will scream to high heaven like you have no idea. I will the day that comes out, I have a feeling my Twitter is gonna blow up. Lily, is Lily okay? Is Lily alive? And I'll be like, no, I've died.
Right.
So you worked at IGN and GameSpot. What were your titles? Did you do the same thing at both companies?
So at IGN, I was their video production coordinator, or post-production coordinator. And then at GameSpot, I was the video producer for news. Mm-hmm. So the difference between the two is that within IGN, I was helping a lot with like making sure that videos were scheduled on time, like editing wise. And then for GameSpot, it would be like I would make video game news that would be like a minute to a minute and a half long. And I would take the news article, write a script on it. And then after that, I would voice over it, edit it, make the thumbnail, put it on the site. So it was a bit more edit intensive and writing intensive, But it was great. I had a great time.
That's got to be like
different.
That's got to be a lot of pressure, right? Because like news in general moves really quick. Video game news, as soon as like Sony says, here's the price of our console, or Microsoft says like, we're going to take pre-orders on Tuesday, like you got to spin that around like right away, right? Yeah.
So a lot of the times, like this is the benefit of being in video game news. If you like have context or whatever, is that they'll, the PR will tell you embargoed till this date at this time. Mm-hmm. So you'll get the information early on, and they'll, news writers will pre-write the things, especially if it's breaking. Mm-hmm. So then the moment that they go on the site, like, like IGN, GameSpot didn't do this. Like they get the information and then they already have an article out like within 5 minutes after the embargo or the announcement comes out. How did they do that? It's because they already have the information.
Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like how soon would you get like if there was like announcement of the price for say the next PlayStation 5 or whatever, you have like a couple days lead up time on that, do you think, or like a day before, like how soon would you get that?
I don't really know, to be honest. Like that, mm-hmm. I mean, it varies company to company, right? Mm-hmm. So if Sony sent something, I don't like, honestly, it really depends on like, because Nintendo and Sony are very strict with their things. Mm-hmm. I don't remember how Microsoft is, but I know with Nintendo and with Sony, it was like you could get it within maybe less than 24 hours or more than 24 hours. It just really depended on like how intense the secrecy of it is. Mm-hmm. Because they're afraid of leaks, as is every company, They don't want something to get leaked, even though
it always
you look at like other places and you're like, how did this happen?
a la Xbox, right? Like we found out about the game, the price because it was leaked.
Yeah,
yeah, the monkey. Oh,
uh-oh. Somebody on Twitter is like, well, I guess I can release this now, and then here's the trailer.
Yeah,
which was
crazy. It that's what they're concerned about, is that they want it to be a surprise. Yeah. But sometimes with the internet, it's just very difficult to do because people can find ways of getting info.
Oh, sure.
Well, I mean, it's still a surprise. Surprise. It's being leaked, right?
I mean, I was pretty excited about the Xbox. I was like $299 for an Xbox Series S.
Super reasonable.
That was shocking. I definitely thought they were both going to be $599 and $399 respectively. But to be fair, the Series S is not as beefier as a Series X. That I did not account for. So I didn't.
Yeah. But the benefit of it is that if you are a beginning gamer, you're someone who is very new, doesn't want a high powered system, doesn't understand the concept of the difference between the two. But you just want to play a game, but you don't want to put that much money in because you're not sure if you're invested in the series or in the console world. You know what I mean? You drop $300, it's better than dropping $500. And that's how they got you. Like, that's how they'll get you. Easy. Like,
Sure. And Xbox, I think, is in a great position because with the acquisition of Bethesda, right, they have a whole new stable of games that they can just put on their Games Pass platform. And for a low price per month, for the price of a Netflix subscription, you can get over 100 games to play.
it's ridiculous. It's that all they want, really. I don't really think they're concerned about the console and selling a console. They just want you in their system. Games Pass system. Once you're in, you're in. And that's how they got you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very hard to cancel a subscription.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just like, you look at it's like with Netflix, right? Some people are like, oh, I'm going to cancel Netflix, blah, 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 blah. But do you actually do it? Like,
nope.
You're like, oh, but like, this game's going to come out, this show's going to come out, blah, blah, blah. That's how they get you.
Like Tiger King. It's like, well, I can't stop now. I got to watch this show.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I could cancel, but,
I'm not going to lie. Every time I say I'm going to cancel Netflix, something else comes out that I need to watch. Like Cobra Kai. I didn't know how awesome Cobra Kai was. Dave was telling me about it because he watched it on YouTube. And it came on Netflix, and I was like, well, I got to watch it. And it's awesome. Yep. And then I binge watched Away last week. You got to watch Away, by the way. If you're on Netflix, watch Away. Awesome show.
See, I'm telling you, that's exactly what they do. So
and now I got into The Boys for Amazon. So they just keep bringing me back.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just how once they get you in, it's like, how do you get out? You really don't.
But since you're a big Nintendo fan, what's like your franchise? Like what it's like to me, Uncharted is like, if not my best favorite franchise of all time, my second, right? Like I love Uncharted on the PlayStation, and Gears of War is my Uncharted for Xbox. What's your favorite series on Nintendo?
Now, when you ask me this question, are you considering like how many in a series there are? Because I wouldn't I want to say that it's this is tough because I could say it's Splatoon, but Splatoon only has 2 iterations, and I feel like that's not enough to really say that it's my favorite series, but it is one of my favorite new IP/franchises. Now, this is going to be a little bit controversial.
Ooh.
But
we like controversy.
But it might not be. But my favorite series from Nintendo is Mario Party.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
It is controversial.
Yeah,
I can't tell you. I haven't played any of the Mario Party games.
Now let me tell you. Now let me tell you. Mario Party 1 through 8, fantastic. Mario Party, those 8, beautiful. The quintessential example of what a good Mario Party is 1 through 8. Now 9 and 10.
Oh, what the
and
car?
I hate to say this, Super Mario Party do not meet that standard. They don't. They're just so disappointing. Yeah, 9 and 10 should not even be in the Mario Party series. They're awful. They're awful.
You're a purist. You're a traditionalist when it comes to.
It's not even that. It's just so. Why would you want to put everyone in a car? Like, I don't get it. Like, the whole idea of Mario Party is that you roam on your own. Like, that's like the fun part, is that you get to decide what your fate is, and if you happen to mess someone up, then oh, my bad. You know what I mean? But with the car, it just doesn't give you that. I don't know. It's not as fun. It doesn't feel like I'm in control of like what chaotic energy that I want to unleash. It's kind of like I'm in this car with 3 other people and I have to like wait for my turn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that whole car thing, I think it was a different developer who worked on that particular one, which is why it went so far off the rails.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's why. And then like I think Super Mario Party is good. It is definitely different, but I kind of like, yeah.
It's better than 9 and 10, I will admit. I just wish that they would add more boards, or they would add their algorithm needs to change as well. because Super Mario Party, the biggest issue that I have with it is that there are so many times that I play. Okay, I hate this. I'm about to get into the weeds of this one, and please let me explain to you why. The algorithm of Super Mario Party is so messed up and not that great because when you're getting into a four player game, let's say you get into it at like the fourth turn and you get like what is it called, like smash and grab. Okay, now turn 6 you get a 4-player game. You might end up getting the same exact game, like mini game, which is completely ridiculous to me because there's so many so many mini games within the series. How is it that the algorithm is picking the same game?
Right.
I don't get that. And then the other issue is that if you step on a green space and someone else steps on a red space and 2 other people step on a green space, the algorithm changes everybody to be a 4-player team instead of a 1v3 or a 2v2. That's consistently happened in the games that I've played. So why is it that the algorithm only thinks that we should play 4-player games? Change your algorithm, fix it.
Wow.
And thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk about Super Mario Party, everybody. I hope you had a very great day.
That was stewing in you for a while. I see. Wow, you had to get that off your chest.
Yeah, that is a deep dive. I am very impressed, and I was engaged the whole entire time because.
Welcome to my review of Super Mario
you actually
Party.
make me want to. You actually make me want to go play Mario Party for the first time now. I haven't played any of it.
It's like with the older games, if there's a question mark game that you have not played before, it will automatically go to that one because it wants you to because it wants you to unlock all the games.
Mm-hmm.
But with Super Mario Party, I've had many times where I've unlocked some, but not others, and it'll still go to games that I've already unlocked, which I find ridiculous because it's like, come on, man, like really, I want to know what other games you have.
They could could just put out a patch for it and fix those are not difficult problems to fix.
No, I think they did put a patch because I think Partner Party was not a part of Super Mario Party, and then all of a sudden it was. I might also be a bit crazy because it's been a while since I've not been on it. Right. But yeah, I played. It's not that I'm saying I'm a Mario Party purist. I just analyze that game so much because I want it to be the best it can be.
Yeah. Understood. You asked me about Final Fantasy games. I can definitely go deeper.
Oh God, no.
We're not going to get into it. It's okay.
We're not going to get into
it. But I'm just saying, best franchise of all time. Yes.
I call it the Triple F series for a reason.
Oh my God.
We're not going to get into Final Fantasy. Please don't get Dave started. Ever.
Listen, you like 7. You like 7. You played 15. You thought it was good.
I love 7, the remake. Remake. Okay, all right. And I did play 15. Mm-hmm. Just for context, the original Final Fantasy 7 on the original PlayStation was the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played, and I haven't played one since 15. And that was like the big shocker on the show. When we first started the show, actually, I surprised Dave and I bought the game and I actually put hours into that game.
Yeah,
and he was shocked.
I was impressed.
Whoa.
I was impressed. Dan is growing his video game horizons.
I am not an RPG type of guy.
Mm-hmm,
I'm a platformer. I'm a shmup. I'm a story guy. Give me a story. Give me a good story, and I'm in. Not much for the RPGs. I don't want to level up. I'm just going to go in, with my level 1 sword and try to beat it. That's me. That's the type of person I am.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. I get it. I guess I could say I get it because I'm also more of a platformer. So.
I knew I liked you. See, I knew I liked you.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not for everybody. I mean, RPGs do have the story element, but the other thing is the numbers, right? Everybody loves when the numbers go up and you buy new things and you get this new ability and this thing, and that's what really gets me in, right? Just throwing little numbers up on the screen. It's not
an action RPG. I can try to get into. But if it's original turn based, no way. There's no way you're gonna get me to get.
Yeah, they really don't do that as much anymore. Even the Japanese ones, they're really doing the hybrid stuff now. So you'll get Souls.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I
more
think
of the hybrid.
like they understand the market. They know that everyone's mixing all the genres up now, and people don't necessarily have the attention spans to do a dungeon crawler, and you sit there with the graph paper and kind of mock everything out. Some people still like that, like I think Etrian Odyssey is exactly that game for the 3DS. It's got the old school grid paper maps and whatnot, and you can plot all your stuff out. But yeah, I mean, it's changing with the times. That's why Final Fantasy VII Remake is like a complete 180 from what the original was. And I think in a good way, right? I mean, everyone seemed to love that game. But
I just like the way the fighting is. Yeah, like the gameplay when it comes to fighting an enemy is great in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. But I would say that's because of the times.
Sure. So, Lily, it's been a pleasure to have you on. This has been great. But before we let you go, we do have one final question. The most important question you will ever be asked in your entire life. We need to know, and we ask all of our guests, what is the greatest game of all time? Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World?
No pressure. No pressure whatsoever.
Super Mario World.
Yes!
Oh,
Yes!
oh, that hurt.
I knew it!
That hurt.
I knew it!
Now, wait a minute.
It goes on the board.
Wait
Dave,
a minute.
it officially goes on the board.
Wait a minute.
goes
Before
on the
before
board.
you do the backflips, Dan, and all that.
Already did it. I'm hanging
we-
upside down.
We need you to explain your answer. Why to you is this the best game of all time?
So while Super Mario, Mario 3, as I like to call it, is fantastic in every single way, Super Mario World just amplifies it and makes everything that game is so great about and just makes it 10 times better. Yoshi's in it. The world is much more defined. Bowser, I believe, is way better in Super Mario World. The music is fantastic, and I think it just beats Mario 3 out of the water. I'm just stating facts on this one.
All right.
The colors are more vibrant. The cape feather is the
Cape Feather is
pinnacle.
pretty good,
It's
yeah.
so good. It's so good. It's so,
that was
good.
all birthed in 3 though.
Yeah,
all
but
the
they
different
made it
suits
better
and
in
flying.
Mario World. Like that's the thing. It's that while 3 is great, Mario World came and just said, "I'm gonna make sure that you look, great, but I'm gonna be better."
I see. So you like the evolution
Yes.
from 3 to World more than the revolution that 3 was in general. Okay.
Basically, yeah. And also the fact that, I will state that I am coming into this as well with, when I say that I will not be swayed as Super Mario World is my favorite out of the two, it's because that is the first Mario game that I ever played. And it was the one that I played when I was 5, and I thought it was amazing. And I will never forget that my step-grandfather gave me his SNES, gave me that game, and said, your life will change. And it did. And that's why I'm here. So that's
Life
why Mario
changer.
World, Super Mario World, anyone can argue with me and tell me that Super Mario 3 is way better, but sorry, I can't. I've got
be
nostalgia
wrong.
on my
They
side.
could be wrong. It's
Oh,
okay.
no.
They could be wrong.
They could be
We-
right,
we-
but I will not be swayed.
We can get into it, but sure. I mean, your convictions are strong and true, and we have to respect that. As wrong as I think you are, I
So
think
it's
you.
been a pleasure to have you on the show.
I think you argued your point well. I can say that.
You definitely could come back. You know what? It's official. You definitely are invited back. You passed the litmus test. Okay, you can come back on the show.
Dan's gonna make you the third host. He's so happy right now. All right.
Also, I will say that the other thing that I will say that Super Mario 3 doesn't have is, I will say the spin jump. Let us not forget how incredible the spin jump is. I will state
Spin
that
jump is
fact.
great. Yeah, it allows you to break.
Mario 3 does not have that,
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
but it's a great game.
It's not a bad game. I love
Bad
Mario
game.
3.
It's the best
It's
game
not
on
a bad game.
Nintendo, Dan. Come on now.
It's
Jesus.
the second
I-
best game on the NES. Yeah.
Next
I
to
know.
Barbie's Horse Adventures. Yes.
Well, everybody needs Bobby's Horse Adventures. I mean, what kind of collection do you have if you don't have
That's
Bobby's
exactly
Horse
right.
Adventures?
You got to have at least 2
In box,
copies.
too.
One to play and one in the box. Yeah.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
have a feeling I had Barbie's Horse Collection. I didn't understand the concept of the game. And then I think a week ago I looked into the game and I said,
Yeah.
What a weird game.
You gotta
played
have
it
it in
every
your
day.
collection if you're a collector.
right.
I'm sorry. I have
Right.
3,600 games, and one of them is Barbie's, Playhouse.
Well,
course it does.
yeah. So thank you again for coming on. Do you have anything that you want to plug before we let you go?
Yes, I would like to plug the idea of voting. Please go out and register to vote. That is very important to this day and age. I will say that right now. If you want to keep having fun and do all that stuff, that's great. But like, please go out and vote. Also, please follow me on Twitter, just because, at Cool Cat Lily C, because I can't not do that. But please go and vote. Do your thing. Do your job. Unless you don't live in America. Then like, how are you doing? I hope you're having a great time wherever you live.
And vote wherever you live.
Yeah, right.
vote wherever
So
you live.
we second those sentiments. Definitely get out there and vote. If you aren't registered to vote, go do that. If you're unsure, I think you can go to vote.org and figure that out. There are many tools online, many resources to do that, and that is very important. Please go follow Lily on Twitter. She is a great follow, and you can follow us. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. We are a good follow as well. And we appreciate everybody who does all the good stuff, who follows us and likes our stuff and comments. That kind of goes a long way. And also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
Keep gaming.